Hello and welcome to the Shamrock Foods Kitchen Conversations, where we'll talk to Shamrock partners just like you about how they approach the hospitality business, stay on top of trends, and manage a successful business. I'm your host, Jeff Piven, Business Solutions Consultant with Shamrock Foods, and I'm joined today with a Shamrock Foods partner, Brian Redzikowski, a well-seasoned and well-traveled executive chef of SDCM Restaurant Group, which includes the award-winning Kettner Exchange in San Diego, California. Good afternoon, Brian. Thank you for joining us today.
Hey, thank you. Pleasure.
Awesome. Well, everyone out there in Facebook land, if you're interested in asking a question to Brian or myself or making a comment or just want to give a shout out because you're a huge Kettner fan, go ahead and do so down below in the comments. Any comments that we're unable to respond to on the show, we'll be sure to get back to you later on after the broadcast. So let's dig in. Thanks again for being with us. Brian, tell us a little bit about SDCM Restaurant Group and specifically Kettner Exchange. How did it come to be?
It came about, it's SDCM. Main man is Matt Spencer. I got on board about 9 years ago, met up with him and talking about a restaurant in Little Italy. And I was like, I don't know, I was either going to go back to LA, back to New York or something. And he's like, I'm thinking about doing a restaurant in Little Italy and all. And I was like, well, I don't really do Italian food. He's like, no, I want to do something different and things like that. So just started talking, traveling around quite a bit, just getting on the same page and all. And it just, I don't know, somehow it was obviously he's born and raised here. I'm not from here. I kind of had a vision. The kitchen I actually drew up about 6 years prior to that one. So then when we started doing it, it was a good opportunity, to start from the ground up. I mean, a lot of mistakes, obviously, looking back now, but, and then, trying to put exactly what I always wanted to do. I just wanted to obviously run my own place in San Diego. I was new to the town and all. I was up in LA running the Thompson Hotel. So it was a great, opportunity. Come on here and do something a little bit different, I think, than San Diego. Nothing crazy, but just doing something different, bringing something else here from being, from the East Coast and all different areas.
Well, it's definitely an interesting menu for sure. Tell us, you were talking about how you traveled around. Tell us how travel has inspired your cooking and your menus.
I mean, it's 100%. Everything stems from that, I'm not reinventing the wheel here. I'm not doing something I've never seen before. And but my travels, it was classically French trained at the CIA, worked at a lot of French kitchens in New York City. It was actually the point when I was in Aspen visiting my brother. That's a chef as well. The last day, I was like, listen, I want to stay in Aspen. And he's like, you should go to Nobu Matsuhisa. And, I didn't know what the hell Nobu Matsuhisa was. It really changed my my vision and all, career-wise. I was getting away from all that French cooking and all, and I think that was also the time back in 2003. Things were changing quite a bit too. Not to use the word fusion, I don't like that word, but it was more of a melting pot. Cuisines were becoming that progressive American, labeling like we call Kettner Exchanges. Kind of gives you a little bit of a bit more of an area, a lot of gray area that you can work in, but. Traveling into, Vietnam, Thailand, France for a while, Japan, Cambodia, that completely changed everything about, my cuisine and stuff like that, like what we do here.
Right. So looking at that menu, I can definitely see that inspiration. And it's just wild that you had the kitchen drawn out 6 years before you actually got to build it. And all the experience traveling around, you got to see things you liked, things you didn't like, and then you could bring a lot of, not to fusion, but fuse all of those ideas together into something that works for you, into something new to San Diego that's obviously been embraced since you've won all these awards and accolades. It's obviously a brand that everybody is really into. So kudos to that. Tell us about what you've been up to more recently. California, San Diego, especially tough when it's come to the restaurant business, of course, in 2020. How have you had to shift your strategies in the past few months?
Yeah, it's been brutal. I think you get into this career with all the people. I think you get into this career to stay busy, to stay motivated, to travel. And that was completely ripped away from us. So the hardest thing was, and with the team was to this is the time that you have to be self-motivated. You have to be able to self-motivate. You're not seeing guests. You're not seeing, it's just like you're by yourself. you're cutting all your staff away. You know, everyone's like zombies. The worst is, you know, you're in the gray. If they told you, okay, you're opening up in 2 months, that's fine. Let's do something, you know, or whatever, and we'll be back in a month and a half. Like, you have no idea. So you kind of have to be ready, you know. We were doing, in one of our restaurants at Kettner, we were doing takeouts, and it only went so far. We could tell, you know, which is like there was no one on the streets anymore. It was just a zombie land down there. And we just all got to the drawing board. It was like, all right, what should we do? You know, let's do something a little bit different, which was strange because we did this thing called Street Buns. We were doing, it's like little pop-ups that we do around San Diego and stuff for the past like 6 years.
Right.
And it's pretty much the same food as Kettner. It's just what we did was we just themed it. We decorated the dining room a little bit different. And we just felt like, you know, it wasn't exciting anymore for someone to come to the restaurant and like pick up a kale salad, you know, and just like, all right, to go, you know, it's just like, let's do something a little bit different. So we did it one time and we just got slammed. We had no idea, you know, how busy it was going to be. And it was just like, all right. And I'm looking at these guests in line and we're like, okay, this is like an event, you know, there's no concerts out there. Like this is their event on a Friday to go out and do it. And it worked out really well. So then we pitched it to the main owner and it was like, you know, why don't you try this for a little bit, you know, just 3 days, boom, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It became very successful. I think it was just like you could see throughout the week. We put the menu out on like a Monday. We have an incredible back of the house team here that does all this stuff for us and all, and put it out there on Monday, and we're just taking pre-orders ahead. So I gave people something to look forward to, I think, for that weekend, like something different. You know, that's how cool. I read it.
So the pre-orders, that's a really cool way to, you know, kind of know what's coming, know what you can order, know what you have to prep, kind of get a little bit of a crystal ball into how to be ready. Now, for those of our viewers out there that might not know what a pop-up is, can you kind of give us a 30,000 foot view of what you did and how you set it up?
Yeah. Well, first thing you have to do is you have to look at during this time, a lot of the farmers that we're working with, a lot of the shipments, you know, like everything shuts down. So you like to look at, all right, what can we actually bring in? How do we brand this thing out? So like, okay, Street Buns, for example, you just like, okay, menu up, like we said, we did about 15, 17 items, things like that. Sometimes we dropped it down and all. The team was a very small team. It's mostly just all the sous chefs and chefs at the restaurants that we got together. And then it was just bringing everyone together. Okay, this is what we're going to do. Boom, we're going to open up on, you know, this day on Friday. The pre-order is already set. We already know exactly what's going to come in and all, so we can pretty much get ahead on it 20 minutes before the orders and all. And then, it was like there was no curveballs into it. Because as of right now, it's just like you can't. A lot of these companies that we use from LA and San Fran, like they don't ship out on Wednesdays. They don't ship out. You know, everyone's cutting. So it's very hard for us, you know, to be like, okay, you know, like plan 2 weeks ahead. It doesn't work that way, you know. So we were just obviously on the fly that Sunday. Had to get the menu out by Monday morning. You know, obviously do the artwork and all, and promote it again on Tuesday. Get the ball rolling again. You know exactly what we're going to bring in.
Awesome. So would you pop up inside the restaurant, or you guys are out in a parking lot, or were you at a park, or how did the locational piece work for it?
For this time, we did it at Kettner. So the pickup window that we had for to-go food, obviously nobody was allowed inside the property.
Right.
We decorated that out really nice. Obviously the Bow Street kind of decor and all, different to-go boxes that we got in, a lot of like little bento boxes. We did a lot of new labeling. It's a process. It's pretty much you're opening up a restaurant, a whole nother restaurant, you know, within a week, and trying to change everything around, you know, and getting the staff all on board, and, you know, and it's not too much time to train. So they have to know exactly what it is. So you just keep the you know, the good guys, the core around you, so that you can change the stuff up on the fly, you know?
Right. Well, it's really cool because, you know, you can do some things that might not, you know, have originally been, you know, part of the original brand idea, but you can do some things, keep it fresh, and communicate something new and fresh and uplifting to the customers, and engage with them in a different way in a time when they need something new and fresh in their culinary lives, you know, because there's no, like you said, there's no concerts, there's no movies. So we're going to engage our customers and get them excited about something new and something fresh. I thought it was totally sharp, and the way that you market it. So folks out there, take a look at the Instagram for Kettner. Take a look at the website. Like, it hits you right in the face when you get on the website, and there's a call to action: sign up now, get involved, get tickets. It's really sharp thinking. Applaud you guys for keeping your head up. Even when things get tough, it's easy to kind of get down. You guys said, you know, we're going to take up arms, and we're going to get in where we can. So speaking of menus, you were talking about you kind of tighten things down. and looking specifically, not to pick on Kettner, but there's like 13 items on this menu. And I personally think it's so cool because of the advantages, not only from supply chain, but like you were saying with training and staffing. Take us through how the menu has changed and what were some of the things that you considered when you changed the menu?
Cost is a big one, obviously. We're not doing the numbers, that we're not even close to any of the numbers.
Right.
So cost was obviously number one, how we're going to do that, Second off is like the availability. Like I said, there's a lot of purveyors that just didn't come again. There are a lot of them from LA and all, they're just not shipping. They're shipping in a little bit here and there. A lot of the farms that we use, some of the product, they just stopped. The factories stopped,
Right.
One of my good friends from Florida, his factory got hit with COVID and all. He had to shut the entire thing down. So we missed all of his shrimp for like a month. It took forever. Octopus. So that has to come off the menu. But I've always been, I've always thought that the philosophy is do less and do it well, other than, like diluting the program and just putting on 20, 30 things. And everyone always says, since we've been open, it's a small menu and all, but I'm like, listen, I don't know. Cheesecake Factory has 120 items and not one of them is good, so let's do 13 and do 13 great that we know what we're doing. So I've never ever thought that the guest was, like the guinea pig, like it has to be tested out in the back.
Right.
So I just rather do everything well. So that was my philosophy for this and all the restaurants that we do.
That's a great philosophy. And I think
you go to Japan. You've been to Japan?
No, I haven't. That sounds awesome, though.
There's restaurants that do one thing. They literally do one thing and they do it great, So, anyway.
Well, it's hard to even do one thing great sometimes.
It's very hard to, yeah, exactly.
And I think the restaurant industry and menu trend was heading towards fewer items, but doing them better, like you said. And the pandemic gave us an opportunity, a little more license with our customers, a little more understanding to have a reduced menu. And I think now that operators are seeing that these are more efficient, you carry less products, you order and get more of one product and less of a wider breadth, so you have fresher product. It's really a great way to operate. And like I was saying, it's hard to even do one thing right. So, Cheesecake Factory, although they do kind of have it down to a science, creating a huge menu and doing all of it right all of the time is a really big lift, especially with the constraints today. So speaking about offerings, when you're cruising around on the website, you guys have the pop-ups, which we just talked about, the opportunity for gift cards, which is huge. Right? Customers buying those. And we all know that not every customer uses all of that. So we get that cash and cash flow for our business. But you guys also did the market boxes. Can you tell me about that program? It looks awesome. I wish I lived closer so I could order one.
Yeah, that was we started that in March, maybe the first time, March, maybe it was April, something like that. One of our friends reached out and was like, you guys should do a market box. And to me, I didn't even think about something like that. I didn't even know what it was because I usually never go to the supermarket and all. But I guess in April it was like really tough. People were like, lines. There's so many lines and all this stuff, blah blah.
Right.
It's like okay, so we got everything together. Like all right, let's do some stuff. And I'm thinking we're gonna sell 5 of these things, like not even, So I mean that's a whole nother hassle too. You're just like all right, you're buying these boxes. Like how do you package eggs? And the guy was like kind of telling us, he's like, no, you can't get eggs, you can't get dairy, but you guys are able to get it. So all right. So anyway, we were doing these things every week and it turned into this factory. Like we had everybody from like the other restaurants come over and just building boxes, you have to like put cushion there for the eggs, like we talked about, the produce, the chicken on top, and then people were like, well, what am I supposed to do with this stuff? So then it turned into like videos that, they were calling up saying like, I don't know what to do with this chicken. And like, what, you've never cooked the chicken before? But like, all right. So then all of a sudden, let's do Kettner things, like that you can do at your house. So then we started doing videos with that. Like, and, I mean, it was a process. It was every single day and starting to build these things. So then it went up to like 80, 86, and it completely took over. Kettner's a big property at the front of the house. Wow. It took over all that. And then all of a sudden it was like 15 people. And I mean, sometimes they ran smooth. Sometimes it was just tough. Like, because we're not like factory workers, like, putting stuff in boxes. Some people didn't get them.
Conveyor belt.
And was like driving all over the place, dropping these things off. And, sometimes we like forgot the wine in them and all. And it was just like, it really took 50, 60 people to put these damn things together.
Wow.
It was a lot, but it was fun. And it was always a silver lining out of these things. You always learn something about yourself or other people. and or you learn, later on in life what else you can use. A lot of things stem from these, mostly from mistakes. Mostly things stem from.
Right. Well, they say that Edison found 10,000 ways not to make a light bulb before he actually made one.
Yeah.
The market boxes, you guys out there in Facebook land, cruise over to KettnerExchange.com. You can buy a market box right now. The spring market box is going to be coming out soon. So get in line, get queued up for one of those, and stay tuned for Chef's videos on how to make something really tasty out of what comes in those boxes. And also, hopefully the wine is mainly for drinking, right? Not just cooking. So you can have a good time doing all that stuff too. So if you're just joining us out there, welcome to the broadcast. I'm here with Brian Redzikowski, executive chef of SDCM Restaurant Group in San Diego, California. If you have questions, and I don't see any questions, I seen Dean Griffiths tag Jesse to say what's up, but no one else has asked anything. I don't know if you guys are just being shy out there, but fire away. We're here to answer questions. I'm sure Chef would like to hear from you, even just a shout out, just to say hello. And if we don't get to you, we will get to you after the show. So we've talked already quite a bit about digital media, your website, social, all of that stuff. Can you talk to me more about the digital media? How do you guys find yourself using your website or social more recently amongst, this is the only way really that we can communicate with our customers right now. Have you guys changed much about that, or talk to me about the strategy a bit?
No, I think the owner and a lot of the partners are really, really ahead of the curve on this. It was a while ago that we sat down, we talked about, we used the old traditional back in the day, you had the PR company and all. And I think with Instagram, it's literally taking over the world, right? The thing is, it's at your fingertips, and whatever you're doing, that second you can reach a huge, broad amount of people, but it worked out really well in March when we were changing the menus and doing different things and introducing, like you said, the market boxes like we did and different items that we had in these pop-ups. I mean, you're reaching these people within a matter of seconds as soon as you hit that send button, Right. So, I mean, we've been always very good with that. They're extremely well with that. I'm catching up on technology. I'm not the biggest tech nerd, but it works. It works really well. We've seen it, the proof's in the pudding. When's the last time you've ever opened up a magazine and said, I'm going to go to this restaurant? It doesn't happen. I don't open up the New York Times anymore. It's just quick blurps. Instagram's got it down.
Right. And a picture's worth 1,000 words. So basically you're reading thousands and thousands of words in just, a few moments. I've looked at the videos, man. There's a lot of engagement on there. Have you been able to connect directly with guests? And can you talk about how you have engaged with the guests just based on the videos? I feel like it's so powerful to connect with a chef because typically you're busy in the restaurant, but now they're getting this one-on-one time with you. And I think there's something really cool there.
Yeah. It's positive and negative out of that too, but on the positive side,
maybe some new friends that you didn't know you were going to get, right?
Yeah. Right. You put the videos out and all, and you ask questions and all, but it opens up a good dialogue. It's constant every single day on emails. I'm going back and forth with some people that have been there, or they did stuff at their house that we've been doing, in the boxes and all, and giving them suggestions and all. We have we have this one couple that comes in. It's kind of, I don't know if they're going to watch this and all, but I reached out to them one time. They bought the market box and all, and then it's just been constant text constantly throughout the whole thing. At nighttime, it's 11 o'clock at night. I'm like, what the hell? In the morning time, and sending pictures of things that they cooked and how they did it wrong and all this stuff. And then they come to the restaurant, they talk about it. So, it's but
that's cool. Maybe get a blooper reel out of, or the fails blog or whatever. It was supposed to look like this. But I think it's really cool. And for those of you out there watching this, that is the social in social media, is you're not just putting out something out there, right? Because Chef Brian has something for you to do. There's a call to action, there's engagement, and there is social feedback that goes back and forth. And that couple that you mentioned, they're probably going to be really, really loyal guests, and they're going to be vocal proponents of your brand forever. And that's an engagement that was essentially free, Right. Well, your time's not free, but pretty dang close to free. Not like the cost of radio or video advertisements,
Yeah,
like they used to be. Right. So cool, man. That was a really cool point. Thanks. California, you guys just got some great news, right? You're going to open up some outdoor dining. They're kind of easing up in the pre-call just now, but while we were testing our cameras, you said something to me like there's a light at the end of the tunnel. So there's going to be a lot of restaurants opening up, and it's not just simply, well, we just fling the doors open and here they come. Can you take us through what your process is looking like as you guys gear up to open the doors, welcome some guests back, bring in maybe some old staff members or some new staff members, and get going again?
Yeah, there's a lot of things to talk about on that subject. It's opening up. It's very tough to open back up. Obviously, financially, you're starting from scratch. We just drain that entire restaurant out, or these restaurants out to the last second. But I mean, opening back up, and it's outdoor dining, but for Kettner and Waverly, that's perfect for us. The weather hopefully will be a little bit better in a few more days, and people are just yearning to go out. And even if it's for like one thing, whatever it is, and just like people need to go out. It's tough though, you bring it back to people, but I've always, if you lose, we've lost a few people, like some are not coming back and all, but I've always liked new people coming in. And I think this really stirs the pot a little bit, where you go, okay, now it's time to all right, it's time to start again from scratch again. It's always all right, boom, this is the time to do it. Obviously the staples of Kettner and Waverly, the dishes stay, but I also like to put some different things on there that maybe we were wasting our time or doing absolutely nothing and milking the clock, for the past 2 months and all. So we had a little bit of time to experiment. Like you said, we could get away with it because whatever, we mess it up one day, it's Bow Street, it's not Kettner,
Right.
I'm going to Yelp and find Bow Street, it's not going to work. So, but I mean, it's a fresh start again. Here we go again. A lot of things that, we kind of, as, we knew it was coming to an end, we're going to be closing down again. You kind of let a few things slide. Like, what do you, nothing you can really do. And, the farmer's like, oh, I don't have this or whatever it is, this meat's not coming in. You're like, all right. But now it's time, all right, reset. We had some time to think about it and okay, what worked, what didn't work. How do we, change it? Regrouping it all. We have a few days now to kind of really deep clean in, a restaurant and bringing new things in and just starting from scratch again and stuff that didn't work. We had time to sit down this time. So we had 3 restaurants operating at full speed before we closed down. But it takes a little bit of time. We'll start with a smaller menu again. We went from 100 miles an hour to 0. And with these farmers and all, they stop production. So it takes a long time to get going again, even from eggs standpoint,
Yeah,
so.
It's true. There's, because of the uncertainty, there's less animals out there. Farmers were not really thrilled to go and replant all of their fields because they weren't sure what was going to happen.
Yeah.
So it is going to take time. So I think that's sage advice from, according to Matt Spencer, you got a fan, the best chef in San Diego. He says to take it slow, open up a bit at a time. You don't want to just fling the doors open and go wild. John Russell is asking, are you able to take advantage of outdoor dining and do you like it? Well, it's raining today, right? You said, can you take me through, is it 25% outdoor dining or what is the restriction right now? And then maybe what's one more step beyond that they're going to let you have?
No, outdoor dining, as long as it's 6 feet, if I'm speaking correctly and all, as long as it's 6 feet, but we're fortunate at Kettner because it's a big property and the parking lot and my parking spot is now tables. So there's people out there, but they did a really good job. I mean, the company's, this company is insane. It's nobody misses a beat. It's just the next day, you're just boom, can we switch it over? And everyone jumps on board and just switch it over. You switch over the parking lot into a dining room, outdoor dining. So tents are up, which blew away the other day, but they're fixing them today and all. Heaters and the lights and stuff like that. So it worked out really well. It saved us throughout the summertime. It was beautiful out there. It'll be beautiful again on Saturday and all. But yeah, it's a massive parking. We're very fortunate that we actually have that and able to seat there. And upstairs, I don't know if you've ever been there and all, but upstairs, about 50% of the capacity upstairs is all outdoors. The cabana's out there around the trees and all that. It works out really, really well for us. So
that's awesome. I'm glad you like it. And fortunately, California outdoor dining is still a thing. In some of our markets, there could be 3 feet of snow on the ground. Yeah. So, you've got to be blessed to have that. Angela is telling everyone to go check out the Street Bun PopUp tonight from 5 to 8 p.m. at Waverly in Cardiff. So jump online. You have to get tickets, Chef. Is that right?
Sorry?
You have to get tickets or you have to order ahead, right?
Yeah, it's sold out. Tell Angela she's late.
Angela, you're late.
Yeah, this will be the last one. We did this one up at Waverly, our other restaurant up north, about 20 minutes up from Kettner.
Okay.
So same team. We brought the team up here. So see how it goes up here, something a little bit different than it was very successful down there. So,
well, it's sold out.
Back there would be
sold out.
Sold out yesterday.
Sold out. Yeah, you're doing it.
Yeah. And these guys got to be ready. We have one more day to prep and then open up on Saturday. So
ready to rock it out. So, if there's one piece of advice that you could give our viewers out there, they may or may not be in California. They could be in New Mexico or across the West, or, I looked and watched who is engaging with some of the previous videos that we've done, and there's people engaging all over the world. Is there something that you can impart upon our viewers right now to help them succeed in the foreseeable near future?
Yeah, you're talking about restaurants?
Yeah, like what can they do? You guys are, Rebecca says you guys are the most innovative restaurant group ever. You're small and you're nimble and you're looking at your challenges as opportunities. Tell us what's one or two things you could pass on to our customers to help them with their success in their restaurant.
One thing is thinking outside the box. You brought it up a while ago. Like, this is it. This is the time to do it. Think outside the box. Grab whatever you can out of all the positivity that actually you can get out of that. And then learn from it. What works, what didn't work. So I'm not going to say this better not happen again, but we did so many things back in March and April that helped us out, going into the second time, this has happened all. But now's the time to do it, because once the restaurants are up and rolling, a year from now, hopefully everything's almost back to normal. You get into like this kind of like this, I don't know, like a slump, but there's a lot of things you just can't change because, the restaurant is dictated by the guests and all. Now it's just do whatever you got to do, and, I don't know. The other thing was just to do things. It just meant I can't sit home and do absolutely nothing. It doesn't work for me. It just, I would have went crazy. You can't travel anywhere. So it's just like the time to think outside of the box and keep everyone busy and just like, try to motivate all the staff to do something a little bit different, and then get some ideas from them, like what they're thinking as well.
That's awesome. Thanks, Chef. So you band together, you speak with other chefs regularly, and you guys are sharing ideas. Are you guys banding together? I know that restaurant groups have the best success when they can share ideas. Are you guys sharing ideas down there in San Diego and helping each other out?
Yeah, I'm always contacting other chefs that are in town and all, like what they're doing, before like Valentine's Day or Christmas. I'm like, what are you guys up to? Some of them are right down the road from us. You try to get as many ideas as possible, like what works, what doesn't work, and when we did the bow, we did that about a month ago. I reached out to like 2-3 people, and they stopped in or whatever. And I was like, listen, like this is the time, like we were just talking about, like this is the time to do it, Change the restaurant, like to-go food is not doing it, switch it over a little bit, still stick on brand, it's still the same kind of the food,
Sure.
Style, that we've always been doing. And then, this is the time to do it and all. But like they've had other things that they were doing, a lot of preserving. They were selling like little cans of preserving and all. And if this lasted a little bit longer, that's going to be the next step, was to try to do some of that stuff that we have in house,
right?
Preserve it and then can it out and like sell it like like little staples and all, or put it back into market boxes.
Yeah, and I think preserves is a really sharp idea in preserving items because they can be used in culinary dishes. They can be used behind the bar. They're beautiful. That's really sharp, man. I appreciate that. Now that we're on food at Shamrock, we're all about the food. Tell us about a dish that you're really inspired by right now, especially going into spring, right? We're about to kind of switch gears here and get out of the cold winter and get into spring. What's something that you're really into right now, a dish specifically, maybe in the restaurant or even at home?
We're going to start working on a lot of vegetables. That's the biggest thing. And to be honest with you, I don't use that many vegetables from Shamrock. It's something that's one of the things that we had some time now to think about, but I know you guys have an insane line now of a lot of farmers market things and all, but trying to get into more vegetable for the restaurants. So I think that's where it's going. Obviously the prices of meat and fish are just out of control, especially now, because we talked about the farmers stopped and, the feeding the animals and all, and slaughterhouses there, it's very limited here in California. But that's the biggest thing, to get back into that very light fare too. Hopefully the sun will start coming out again over here, and we're back into 70, 80 degree weather and all. So works out really well for us.
Right. So awesome. Getting into a little bit a little bit lighter in center of the plate.
Yeah.
And taking advantage of what's in season. Take a look at Shamrock Foods and the Mark-On Cooperative family of products and the specialty produce coming out. I mean, it's coming out of California like half of the year anyway. You guys are in the epicenter of it. Well, Brian, Chef, thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate it. And everyone out there, thank you for joining Shamrock Foods Kitchen Conversations. We hope you enjoyed the show. Thank you so much for the comments down here. Thanks, Josh. Thanks, Ken. Sorry I didn't get back to you, but I am giving you the shout out here that I see it. Hope you enjoyed the show. Keep on typing down below, and we'll see you guys all next time here on Kitchen Conversations. Thanks again. Take care.
You. Pleasure.
Thanks. See you, Brian.